We got a house in Moygannon Lane in Donaghcloney, a big farmhouse owned by a man, I was a farmer, John Hylands. So we all moved there. I didn't go to school in Belfast at all, and we moved there, and then I went till Donaghcloney School, and it was the big church now, it's the big church, but it was lovely, you know, completely different from Belfast, you know, the tone of their voice, everything, you know. It was a farm, yes, you know, there was cows and all out the back, an orchard and all, and chickens running about, you know, and cows and an odd bull Mummy brought out for the farmer, and she didn't know it was a bull. But anyway, I don't know why, but I know them years we did live in that farm were the most precious years of my life. I loved it, you know, and it was just old with a big range, black range, and Mummy was a baker. You know, she always baked, the griddle was going something, but like Yvonne, we walked from the centre of Donaghcloney, from school, right down. There was no lifting you, there was no, the way the kids go to school now. But it learned you, rain, hail or snow. Now the snow was heavy them days, you know, like a couple of years ago we got it near up the ditches. We paddled on, you know, but it just was the thing you done, everybody done it, so we just followed away, like, you know. Well, she baked for neighbours and all, she always had her hand in a baking bowl, and there was no such thing as electric whisks then, and when these ones come out, she'd had you, you know, standing, but you used to come round the corner from school and you could smell the griddle, you know, and to go in and get a big soda with the butter, and the butter run down your arm. And you were like, it was all beautiful, beautiful.
Bring back memories.
Yes, it does bring back. She was a real good now, not just because she was my mummy, but she was very good at housekeeping, you know. She would have made sure that everything was, your Sunday clothes was took off you right away the next Sunday, shoes, socks, the lot. And I remember all we had, there was no baths. In the summer there was a big tin bath put out, and just everybody was booked into it. I was the eldest of 7, so we were all, you know, just in turns, and it was the same water. From I was no age, you had to do, I remember once a goose coming up to Christmas, and the board, you know, the shelves in the kitchen were high, and they were like wood, and they were scrubbed and all. Do you know, every other day they were really scrubbed, but Mummy couldn't clean out. She could cook anything, but she couldn't clean out fish or poultry or anything like that, so that was okay. So she says to me, Jeanette, could you do it? I could have been 6. Here's me, yes, Mummy. Now I remember this because, you know, then a wee wooden stool, I was put up, and I remember Mummy pulling my sleeve up, and in I went, and I done, because Daddy and all was at work, so I cleaned it out. But I got this Christmas Day stocking that size to Jeannette from Santa for cleaning the goose. Well, I'll never forget that as long as I live. And you know what was in it? When you think back, our plastic toys and wee stupid games, wee things. But that meant to me, I thought I was 20 feet tall. You know, that meant that Santa really was. On them days you got nothing from Santa hardly, like. You know, I moved then from Donaghcloney School to Lurgan.
Oh, okay.
To the intermediate in Lurgan. Loved it, really. Was in a B class, really doing well, right? And I was actually making tea for the teachers and all. Well, that changed because in 2 years, Mummy and Daddy decided to move to Lisburn. It horrified me. It really, really, I can't put into words what it did to me, but I hated the thoughts of going to Lisburn. What would you want to go to Lisburn for? But that was it. But within a couple of days I was standing at the corner too with them, you know, the girls and boys. Still meet them up to this day, some of them, you know. But it changed my attitude towards my education, I know it did. Because at 14 I went down to a C class. 15 was still in the C class. I actually got expelled once from classes because I had smoked on the bus. I'm being honest because there's no point in telling lies. And I says, that's okay, I want your mother and father, but we never said anything about that. They said they couldn't make it down, you know. Miss Gray, you called her, and she was a targer, and, you know, the big headmistress. So that was okay. The day I left school, I was 15 years of age, and Daphne Hayes and I run down the bank, Fort Hill School, and says, that's it. Believe it or not, the first place I worked was Moy Park. Yes. Whew. It was rough. You had your white overall, plastic apron, a hat and welly boots. And you went in, and I was like examining the chicken, you know, and then you put the legs up and tied the wings up. Well, all my hands come out septic. Every one of them, I got up one morning, I couldn't move them. So one of them come out to see why I hadn't done at work for a couple of days, because there was no phones then to phone in. And Mummy says, I don't think she'll be back because her hands broke out. And I says, and the nurse that come out said, yes, they have, but would like you back, which was nice to say, you know. Maybe didn't talk as much back then, but then I moved on to the fancy backs, making boxes. And we once made a box for the Queen. I can't remember whether it was for an anniversary, but it was up the Ballinderry Road. Does any of you know the Ballinderry Road? In Lisburn, it's just off Knockmore Estate. You could go out and walk up to it. It was lovely. Christian people, Mr. McCabe and his wife owned it, and it was really nice, you know. I remember it so well, and everybody was so friendly, and it was only about 20 workers, no big. So the money wasn't good. I think about a fiver, if that, you know what I mean. But the done, you give your money, that was the first thing into your house, into the house, and then the rest. But a pound went a long way in them days. But they were fancy. No, Mary, they were fancy. I mean it, they were lovely. And you would have, you know, they were the corners cut, and you put them straight on the cardboard bit, and then you would have turned it over and rubbed it all, and then the sides, and then you'd do it in and do it up. It was really...
Whatever happened to the shop or the company?
I don't, it's still there, but I don't think, the building's still there, but I don't think it's anything to do with the fancy box like now. Right, we went to the RFD in Dunmurray.
What's the RFD?
It's life saving. They've done rubber dinghies, you know, the big ones to go out, yeah, for the, you know, if somebody was drowning, they could go out and lift them. They were all about the size of this house. You'd stand and roll the glue. You were high as a kite sometimes, like, you know, with the smell of the glue. You really were, but it was clock in, clock out. So then I was started to go to the dances and went for a wee drink and whatever. Daphne, my mate now. So we started, and we used to go on a Friday night to Hillsborough dance in the Orange Hall. Then we moved till the Top Pot on a Saturday night. But then we got more adventurous and we ended up in the Castle Ballroom. And it was my first time, no, it wasn't, my third time in the Castle Ballroom. I was dancing away. Daphne and me girls just danced together and hoped for the best, you know. And this fella come up to me and says, "You dancing, babe?" And I looked at him and says, "Okay." And I'm married till I'm 43 years. So Daphne fancied us.